Most people lose their power without ever realizing the exact sentence that took it from them. And it usually starts with a question. Not an insult, not a threat, a simple question. In the next few minutes, you're going to see 5 ordinary questions that silently strip confidence, authority, and respect from people every single day. And the final one is the most dangerous, because almost everyone answers it automatically. Once you notice these, you will never hear conversations the same way again. The invisible shift. We've been taught that power comes from speaking well, from having the perfect answer, from explaining ourselves clearly. That belief is the trap. Power is not lost when you say the wrong thing. Power is lost the moment you feel obligated to answer. The instant you rush to defend, justify, or clarify, you hand control of the interaction to someone else. You step into their frame, their timing, their pressure. And here's the part most people never notice. Conversations are rarely about information. Questions are rarely neutral. Silence is rarely weakness. Silence is leverage. And the people who understand this don't scramble for words. They don't rush to respond. They stay still, while everyone else exposes their intentions. But this only becomes obvious when you see the specific questions designed to pull you out of composure. Let's start with the one that looks the most innocent and does the most hidden damage. The Stoic Frame. Ancient Stoic philosophers understood something modern culture has completely forgotten. Not every question deserves an answer. Some questions are not requests for clarity. They are invitations to lower your status, to justify your existence, to step onto a stage you never agreed to enter. When someone questions you, they're not only seeking information, they are testing your boundaries, your confidence, your emotional control. And the moment you rush to respond, you communicate urgency. Urgency communicates need. And need dissolves authority faster than any mistake ever could. Stillness is where power lives. The person who controls the pace controls the interaction. The person who controls the interaction controls the outcome. Now let's expose the first question and why most people fail it instantly. Question 1. Why did you do that? This question sounds harmless. It's not. Why did you do that? Quietly places you on trial before you've even decided if the person deserves an explanation. And most people fall into the trap immediately. They defend themselves. They over-explain. They list their logic. What they don't realize is that every unnecessary justification signals uncertainty. Even flawless reasoning can make you appear unsure if it's offered too quickly. Powerful individuals don't treat every inquiry like a courtroom. They respond briefly, calmly, or not at all. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. The less compelled you feel to justify yourself, the stronger your presence becomes. And the second question is even more deceptive, because it disguises pressure as politeness. Question 2. Don't you think that was a bit much? This question isn't seeking truth. It's seeking retreat. Don't you think that was a bit much? Is designed to make you second-guess your own judgment in real time. It wraps social pressure in soft language, and most people instantly apologize, even when they did nothing wrong. They shrink their posture, soften their tone, negotiate their own self-respect. But here's where it gets interesting. When you remain emotionally steady, the pressure flips direction. The person trying to destabilize you begins to question themselves. Calmness doesn't escalate tension, it exposes it. And the next question is even more subtle, because it pretends to be reasonable while quietly eroding your authority sentence by sentence. Question 3. Can you explain what you meant? Sometimes this question is sincere. Often, it's not. Repeated requests for explanation can become a tactic that dilutes your certainty. Every extra sentence you add can chip away at the weight of your original statement. People begin to perceive hesitation, even if none exists. Clarity does not come from repetition. Clarity comes from precision. The Stoic principle is simple. Say what you mean once. Say it cleanly. Let it stand. Over-explaining transforms confidence into negotiation. And if you think that's powerful, wait until you notice the next question. Because it doesn't challenge you loudly, it destabilizes you quietly. If you've enjoyed what you've heard so far, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Question 4. Are you sure about that? This question is quiet, casual, almost friendly, and incredibly effective. Are you sure about that? Introduces doubt without confrontation. A raised eyebrow, a subtle tone shift, a slight pause. These tiny signals can unravel people who depend on external reassurance. The unsteady person rushes to defend, more facts, more emotion, more urgency. The powerful person does the opposite. They remain steady. Certainty does not argue with every raised eyebrow. Certainty does not panic when challenged. When you allow silence to hold the space, you communicate something stronger than any argument ever could: internal stability. And now we arrive at the final question, the one that reveals more about the speaker than the subject, and the one almost nobody resists. Question 5. Why are you so quiet? This question exposes discomfort, not yours, theirs. Silence unsettles people who rely on constant noise. When someone asks why you're quiet, they're revealing their own anxiety with stillness. Yet most individuals rush to fill the gap. They talk just to remove tension. But silence is not emptiness. Silence is composure. You are not obligated to entertain every moment. You are not required to perform constant engagement. When you are comfortable with stillness, you remove the leverage others gain from your need for approval. And something remarkable happens. The room adjusts to you. The Stoic principle, the real shift. Power is not dominance. Power is control of response. The person who reacts first often loses position first. The person who chooses when to react controls the emotional temperature of the interaction. When you control your reactions, you control the frame. When you control the frame, you control the room. This is not arrogance. It is emotional discipline. True authority is not loud. It is steady, patient, selective. Remember this: you do not need to answer everything. You do not need to defend every choice. You do not need to fill every silence. The urge to respond instantly is rarely strength. It is usually fear wearing the mask of engagement. Say less. Stay calm. Let others reveal themselves. Because the moment you remove the compulsion to answer on command, you reclaim control over your presence, your pace, and your power. Silence is not absence. Silence is space. And the person who is comfortable occupying space without apology is the one who is never easily moved. If you start noticing these 5 questions today, you'll see them everywhere. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. Remember, subscribe for more deep dives into philosophy, psychology, and real self-improvement. Not the flashy kind, the foundational kind.